Hello, welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Ryan of FireGang, which is a dental practice marketing agency. How's it going, Ryan?
It's going really well on my end. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Ryan, I would love to start this off. First of all, I would love to learn why the name Fire Gang.
hmm Yeah, so it actually has a double meaning. So it's fire and it's gang. And this agency was started back in around 2012. And at that time, the owner, I wasn't here at the very beginning, but the owners of the company and those who founded it, they were just getting into internet marketing and trying to figure out what businesses they were going to be working with and had like a widespread array of different types of clientele. This was before they niched down and just focused on dentists. And so at that time, they found that they were having a ton of success with dentists. And so they decided, well, hey, let's niche down into that space. And this is where this kind of idea of fire gang came from, because at the time, dentists really weren't on the internet. They weren't really marketing themselves there. Very few dentists had a website. Dentists had this mindset of, okay, we're just going to put the sign out in front and the patients are going to come. And that worked for a really long time.
Yes.
So it stopped working. And the dentists who were really starting to succeed in that day and age around 2011, 2012, 2013 really were using the power of the internet to succeed. And so fire comes from this idea of like, it's the new like technology, it's the new source of power in this space is to use fire, much like a caveman. The first caveman to discover fire was going to beat out all the other cavemen. So it has that like interesting meaning. And then gang is just to say, hey, we're a group of people that have all come together to solve this one specific problem, which is growing dental practices. So you pull it together and you get fire gang.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you joined back in 2016. Where were you before? What kind of led you to Fire Gang?
So I graduated from college in 2015
Oh,
and I was
wow.
a marketing major, and I had gotten a job right out of college working for this little local marketing agency, really small. Like I was one of three people, including the owner. And I, as part of that, went to a lot of networking events in my city and met a lot of different people. And just one day I ran into a guy named Jake who owned Fire Gang and started Fire Gang. And he was looking for someone to start social media marketing for the business and help dentists with running their Facebook page and their Twitter page and stuff like that at the time. So I was like, hey, I'll do it. I'll be your social media guy. I'm looking for kind of a new job anyway. And it sounded really interesting what they were doing at FireGang. So I joined in as part of the social media team and got into the agency and found FireGang to be doing some really cool things. The thing that really stuck for me at the time, especially, was just how good of results FireGang was getting for their dental practices. Like, just way better than anything I'd seen out there. And so I was like, okay, these guys are doing something really interesting. Let's figure out what they're doing and how I can be a part of it. And I've been here for a really long time now, and the culture is great, the people are great, and the results really are impressive of what FireGang is able to bring to the table for the dental clients we work with.
That's cool, and I think it shows your loyalty a lot of times because we're around the same age, and I think a lot of people, the typical thing of our age is you hop jobs about every 2 years, right? And so it's cool to hear that you've been with a company 8 years, going on 9 years now, which is really interesting. And so, what are some key lessons that you've learned about marketing for dentists specifically during the last 8 years?
Yeah, I would say that above all else, the number one thing is you have to focus on what makes you different. And there are so many different things you can do in marketing in terms of getting your name out there. You can run Google ads, you can run Facebook ads, you can get really good at social media, you can be on TikTok, you can have billboards. I could go on and on about all these different ways that you can get your name out there. But at the end of the day, dentists always seem to skip that first step, which is here's what makes me different. And as a
Mhm.
patient, here's why you should choose me. If you go straight to getting your name out there, then what you end up doing is basically putting up a billboard in some form or fashion that says, hey, I'm a dentist. I exist. Do you want to come and be my patient?
Yeah.
And you've given no reason for that patient to want to choose you over the other 50 dentists in your city that are literally saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So we work with our clients. We always slow down and say, okay, first step, what makes you different? How are you, as we call it, tangibly unique? What makes you different than other dentists in a way that is very palpable, that a patient can grasp and easily understand and say, yes, I want to choose you for that. And one really simple example of this, there's a ton of these, but really one simple example is, are you open on Saturday or are you not, right? If you're a dentist who says, hey, I'm willing to be open on Saturday, I'll treat patients that want to come in on the weekend. Now
Yeah.
you are tangibly different than somebody else, because if that's important to me as a patient, then I'm going to
Yeah.
choose you versus a dentist who is not open. Again, you don't have to be open on Saturday if you're a dentist, but that's just one example of the kinds of things we try to work out with our clients. Then when we go to advertise for them, we can start running ads for, hey, we're open on Saturday. Hey, this is the thing that we do that makes us unique.
Mm.
Focus there, figure that out first. The rest of it is far easier down the road.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really good point. I'm thinking about all the dentists in my life that I would know that don't have anything like that. They still don't do any. It's funny that I remember there's kind of this craze amongst digital marketing agencies, maybe in like 2018, 2019, my timeline could be off, but everybody was going after dentists for a while. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it was like the dentists usually had money. It was like that perfect, like almost evergreen thing where they had money and they didn't have a website. They didn't have all of that stuff. And you guys have been around a lot longer, so I'm sure you guys have seen that and you saw competition popping up. How did you guys get through that phase? Were you there for that?
Yeah, definitely been there for that. There's always waves of this. I think the big draw for a lot of businesses is that the key thing about a dentist is that they are the business owner, and they're like the decision maker, and they're the lead within the business. And so they fulfill all of these core roles where if I can get in front of a dentist, they're going to be the one that makes the decision. They're going to be the one that executes on it. It's that one person. And so these business owners see that as such an easy entry to get in and convince a singular person to buy something from them. The problem is that these guys that are running these agencies, they fail on literally the one point that I just made earlier. They come in and they offer, typically, I'll build you a website and I'll run your Google ads. And they offer low prices and it sounds really great to the dentist, but all they're doing is just chucking the dentist's name out there with no reason why they should choose them. And so these dentists are spending all this money on Google ads, and they end up talking to us like 2 or 3 years later after they've run with these other agencies, and they go, yeah, Google ads doesn't work for me. I tried it. I put all this money into it. Google ads don't work. We're like, yes and no. You have to use them correctly. And so we've been able to get through it, I think, because our strategy actually works, and our approach and how we use these tools, the way we do it is very different than the way these other agencies are doing it. And maybe we don't win out on that contract the very first time due to price. Our price is definitely higher than these other agencies, but down the road, we eventually come back to these practices that maybe spoke with us a year or two ago, and okay, I'm ready to work with you guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned on that note, you mentioned that successful partnerships require effort on both sides. And so how do you help dentists identify areas for improvement, like missed call rates or whatever, right? And guide them towards better practice or yeah, better practices to maximize results.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we at FireGang look at success in three core areas when it comes to marketing for a dental practice. So you have to be really good at what I already talked about, with this differentiation. What makes you different? The second core area is visibility. Once you know what makes you different, then you make it that really well known. So you're visible with the right message. The third core area is what we call conversion. You have to be able to convert at a very high rate within your business from lead into actual patient. So when we talk about a partnership, what I mean is that I can really work with you on your differentiation. Here's what makes you different. I can make a ton of Google ads. I can build you a website that all focuses on that and get you all these people that are very interested in you, that are going to the website. They're calling you. They're filling out a contact form saying, hey, I'd like to set up a new patient appointment. But if your staff at the front desk of that dental practice does never picks up the phone, or never answers the contact forms, or when they do pick up the phone, they are very unpleasant and they don't do a good job of converting, then it doesn't matter what we did on the front end. You're just not going to get new patients in the door. And so I've worked with dentists in the past where they had no idea what was going on their front desk. And this is a huge issue. And so for us at FireGang, we don't feel it's fair within this partnership to just say, okay, we sent you these leads, we're off the hook, go figure it out.
Yeah.
So we employ a lot of strategies to help our clients understand what is happening at their front desk so that we then can affect change that's going to be positive for the entire relationship, right? Like they still have to do their part, answer those phones, but we believe it's our part to help them understand if they're missing phone calls, that we're bringing that to their attention. So we'll track and record all the calls that are coming into the practice for a dental practice and show that to the dentist and say, hey, you got 100 new, whatever the number is, but 100 new patient phone calls last month. Your staff answered 40 of them. And out of the 40, they were able to turn 20 of those into appointments. So on your side, you saw that you got 20 appointments and you might have thought that was great, but you missed out on 80 legitimate opportunities. How can we affect change here? And we give them some tips. We talk through what that looks like. I just got off a call on, it was Monday. So yeah, very recently with a dentist of ours, that's one of our clients. And he said that was the biggest unlock for them. He had no idea what they were saying on the front desk. He had no idea how many calls they were missing. And it was all during lunchtime. And
Mm,
we ended up finding they were missing all these calls and it was all at the exact same time. And he's, because of you guys, I rotate my staff now where half of them take lunch at one time, half of them take lunch at the other time. That way we don't miss any more new patient calls. That change alone he's made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's great.
yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that separates us as an agency from others as well. And you ask, like, how do we get through these waves? No one else is doing this stuff. No one
Yeah.
else is helping dentists like this. It's a true partnership on both sides.
I love that. And there's so much value in it because coming from a family of doctors and dentists and whatnot, these are people who have specialized very heavily in one field, and that field is what they practice every day. And that's usually what they want to do. And so when they go and own their own business, they start their practice, they have to learn all of these new skills about leadership, about these little things about how a business runs. And I think the value that FireGang provides is you guys have already been through the cycle enough times that you know that okay, this is problem A, this is probably what problem B is going to be, and then we'll have problem C and all that stuff. And so that there's where the value is, and that's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of these things at this point where we've seen it all before, and
Mm,
it enables us to be in a position where if we start to see some issue occurring in like over the course of 3 or 4 days, we know that it's going down a bad road. We're like, yeah, if you keep doing this, it's going to get worse. We don't need you to wait for a whole month or two
yeah.
to see this. We know the pattern. So the way I like to look at it is you can imagine like being in a beach and there's all these landmines on it. And if you don't
Mhm.
know where you're going, you're eventually you're guaranteed to run into one. It might not be your first step, but it's probably going to be your second or third step. And at
Mhm.
FireGang, we're helping navigate that path for you so you don't step on any landmines.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you describe FireGang's culture as fantastic and focused on providing amazing results. So how does the team's culture and collaboration contribute to the agency's ability to deliver exceptional outcomes for dentists?
Yeah, it's a great culture. I think there's a couple components to it. One is definitely that we all are just we're really client focused and everybody here really wants to see our clients win. And so when you have that kind of mindset, it pushes everyone to do the best work that they can at every step throughout the process, whether we're building the website or whether we're running an ad for a client or whatever that looks like. The other side of it too is that we really do have a group of people that trust each other. And I think that's super important because if there is something that's going wrong with a client and maybe me as an employee, I'm like, if I am fearful of telling a superior that there's an issue there because I'm fearful of getting reprimanded, then I might just not bring that issue up. And then it festers and festers. And
Right.
ultimately the client suffers because of that, even though that's completely an internal problem. So we don't have that at FireGang. There's this really strong culture of trust within each other. And it's, hey, this is what's going on. Let's figure out a plan to fix it. And so we're not just like waiting around or our clients aren't losing at our own expense. So I think we've just a lot of trust within the team, a lot of desire to do great work. And what we found over the years is just we know the type of people that are going to do really well here because they have all these kind of culture aspects that make them fit in with our team and want to do really great work. And so as we've gone on over the years, we've started hiring better and better people, not just from a skills framework, but also from just the culture that they can continue to provide us.
That's awesome. That's really cool with the results that you guys provide. It seems like there's an amazing, like you said, culture at FireGang. This has been awesome, Ryan. Where can people learn more about you and where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, the best thing to do is you can head to our website, firegang.com. What you'll see there is just a lot of information about our services and what we do. If you scroll down just like a little bit on the front page, you can also get our book. It's totally free if you go to our website. You can see it here, but
Oh,
there
there
we
it
go.
is.
So
Nice.
this is our book. It's called Practice Growth. It's about 400 pages long, but it essentially outlines exactly what our marketing strategy is for dentists and how it works and how you could apply it specifically to your practice. We've had dentists that have taken this book and been very successful at implementing it themselves. I realize that for a lot of dentists, that's not something you want to do. But if you're interested in learning, hey, how would FireGang be able to work with me and what might that look like if I were to work with them? Reading this book really is a great way to understand what that looks like in an easy first step.
It's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for being on, Ryan. It was a pleasure hearing about FireGang.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks.